I told you to get Lambrusco.
Oh, here, I'll show you what it is. It's Napa Valley shit.
It's Napa Valley shit.
Okay. I'm not even like a wine connoisseur. I'm just like.
Me either, but I hope it's good.
We got that Napa Valley shit.
Napa Valley shit.
There should be a wine that's called Napa Valley shit.
Right?
Yes. Hey guys, this is another episode of 312 Unscripted with Carl. We got Chris and then myself, Rachel. How's it going?
What
Hey.
is good. That's a
That was all
natural
right?
introduction.
All right.
That's the
Solid.
first. Hey, that's the first for the whole series that someone else does the
You
introduction.
got to do it. Yeah.
All
so
right,
you
all
set
right.
the standard high just right
Amazing. I pay per project, so.
now. Hell yeah.
Hey, so whoever's watching, and somebody else wants to come on, you're gonna have to match that, if not
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
All right, Rachel, thank you so much for stopping by and
Thanks for having me.
blessing us with your presence.
Oh, I feel the same way. Namaste. Thanks, guys. I appreciate the invite. Carl, thank you so much. Yep, I'm in town, live in Phoenix, Scottsdale area, and Carl sent me a message, and he said, hey, you want to hop on here and do a podcast? I said, absolutely.
Let's get it.
Absolutely.
Let's get it. It's just very, you come to Chicago every so often. I figured it would be a great opportunity for us to just link up, catch up, and then
Yep.
just, do some shit, right?
Love it. Always.
Do some shit.
Do some
Because
shit.
How we met was just doing some shit.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
That doesn't say much, dude.
So
Yeah,
we'll get into it right now because I
Okay.
thought that was a good segue. So this was during COVID, and I was just kind of like, okay, what do I do with my time? What do I do with whatever? And if anybody out there watching doesn't know, I do photo and video. So I was working with it was a yoga mat company. So they reached out to me. They're just like, hey, if we send you some stuff, would it be cool if you, grab a few models, yoga people, and, have them kind of like model for it, and then we'll send you stuff. We'll send you some, if you could send us pictures, in return, that'll be cool. We'll send you more stuff. I'm just
More
like,
yoga
okay, cool.
stuff?
Why not? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like yoga
I do
mats.
remember this.
you're a yogi?
I'm not
No,
a yogi.
he-
I'm a photographer. So they're just like, hey, we noticed you do photos. Would you happen to be interested in doing some yoga stuff? I didn't do any prior.
Right.
Just like, okay, cool. I'll try
If
this
we
out.
send you some like yoga mats, could you find some people to take pictures? And
Right.
I think you reached out to me on
I reached
Instagram.
out to you, yeah, because I just searched up Chicago yogis. I was just like, okay,
Yeah.
it's got to be Instagram. It's got to be,
Right.
in Chicago. So I was just like, blah, 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 blah. I reached out to like maybe 15. Rachel was like one of the 15 that,
So you just dry messaged?
yeah.
I
right?
think so.
Yeah.
Just
I
out
think
of nowhere, hey.
Just out of nowhere, and I was in a place where I'm like, this is my shit. I love like yoga pics. I love doing all that stuff. So when Carl reached out to me, I was there was sort of. I mean, I was a little bit skeptical at first.
Dude, it was this fucking guy just.
I was like, who's this guy? I
randomly reaching
actually
out.
had Carl meet me at my trainer who I was training with at the time. Shout out to Enioma. Shout out to As You See Fit Shy. I asked Enioma, I said, hey, there's this photographer. I don't know who he is, but can we use your space and can you hang around while we do this photo shoot?
Right.
I've had experiences in the past with other photographers who are, oh, we'll do this, and then they get shady and weird, and I just didn't want that to happen again.
Right.
And so we met. His studio back then was in like the South Loop area.
South Loop, yeah, I remember.
So we got together, linked up for that, and then from there I was like, yeah, Carl's actually legit person. Let's do other shoots and all
Yeah,
that stuff. And
yeah.
I think I introduced you. Maybe it was me who introduced you to Temple
yeah,
at the
it
time.
was you.
Fast
It
forward a
was
little
you.
bit. Yeah.
Yeah, and I did a couple of sessions with them too. So that was
Yeah.
all just, a work that was brought into fruition after just some random a random yoga company reached out, and I just randomly looked up the hashtags, and then just kind of brought us together. So
Wow, dude, what a
Pretty
story,
crazy.
dude. How it just comes out of nowhere. Just like
oh yeah, dude. The
company. Hey, did you ever thank the company for like connecting you to this network of yogis?
I mean, I'm always thankful. I'm always thankful. Did I thank them directly about hey, thanks for reaching out to me. It was more so like a, hey, thanks for the product sort of thing.
Right,
Because
right,
they
right.
wanted pictures in return for the product. Or just like, yeah, dude, thanks for the opportunity. And it just opened up like a door of shit for me.
And Rachel,
cool.
how did you even start your yoga journey, if you don't mind me asking? Because, I
Yeah.
mean, for him to find you and you being one of the top 15, I mean, you had to be up there, no?
I guess so. I'd like to think I'm in my own little dream world, I'll say.
Okay.
I started yoga back when I was in college at University of Arizona, and I just was trying to find a way to minimize my stress and find some other outlet besides partying and doing all the college stuff. So I started taking yoga and like immediately fell in love with the practice and wanted to do a teacher training after that and teach yoga to other people. Fast forward, I graduated school. I did that, completed my teacher training. And then from there, I thought, let me move back to Chicago. Let me bring yoga to the city and see what comes up from it. And I mean, I had a great time. Fast forward, I think it was 2020-ish. Then I kind of said, I'm over living in the city. Let me pack up my bags and move back west to Scottsdale, Phoenix. So that's where I'm currently at. But I still teach, I still practice, and
You have a program. You should plug it because we worked on that program.
We do, yes. So Carl and I last year we got together. I have like a one-on-one type of yoga program where it's includes the yoga practice, the asana. That's what it's called, the physical practice. So like the postures, but it also includes like the meditation portion as well as the breath work. And so when you combine these three aspects of the physical, the breath work, and the meditation, the mind, that is where yoga happens. Yoga means union, to yoke, to bring together. And so when you bring these aspects of yourself together, that from that place is where you can function at your most optimal. You can make decisions that are better suited for you. You can, follow through with agreements, or maybe say, that's not really for me. I'm going to go this way in life. You sort of, in a way, take control of your life is what I like to think about it.
So you become more like thoughtful about your decisions.
Totally. You become much more thoughtful in intention.
Wow.
Over anything else. I mean, for me, that's sort of what got me attracted to yoga is like, as you're practicing, you have these moments where you can pause and you can say, you know what, I don't have to get angry at this pose. Let's say you're in down dog. You're on your hands and on your feet and you're in down dog and maybe you start to feel emotions come up and you're getting frustrated. And then you have moments where you could just pause and say, I don't have to react like this. Instead of reacting, I can respond accordingly. Like where do I want to go? Where do I see my future? And so instead of reacting from a place of, whatever from the past, you can respond accordingly so it can get you just a little bit closer to where you want to go, as opposed to reacting sort of, staying in that same place, same shit,
same attitude,
same cycle, same bullshit. No. You're here to like break through that and be a pioneer of, what you want ultimately. I think a lot of people sort of give up in a lot of ways with life. Life is hard. Life is not easy. And I mean, we've lived through a lot. Let's say, 9/11, Y2K, the housing crisis, COVID, lockdowns, blah, blah, blah. Like you name it, humans, we can get through shit. And for me, practicing yoga and teaching yoga is a way to sort of practice those skills on the mat. So when you step off the mat, you can navigate the world just a little bit better, right? You don't have to react like from an automated place. You can respond in a way that maybe is, better suited for you and where you want to go ultimately.
So when you do these introductions for your yoga students and stuff, because a lot of people do come in like me, first off, looking from the outside window, I thought yoga was just a physical thing.
Right.
But there's a lot more into it than just physical, right?
So much into it, yeah.
And you talking about how you make up your mind about things and all that, it just kind of makes me seem like, okay, so I go to yoga, I'm not just sweating my balls off and shit. So you're doing more than that. You're thinking about your life. You're in these positions thinking spiritually, or what? What are we thinking?
Let's say, you're holding a position for 5 breaths. You're maybe you're in tree pose. You're standing, you're balancing on one leg, your hands are in prayer, and you throughout the poses, it's not like you plan on this, but you have thoughts that come up like, oh, fuck this pose, or emotions like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't have the courage or the strength in my heart center to like hold this pose for that long. And again, it allows you to sort of put a pause on that. The moment you start to notice your brain is going, I can't do this, I won't succeed, blah, blah, blah. The moment you notice that, you put a period down right then and there, and you do your best to neutralize. And then from that place of neutralizing the sentence, this is hard, I can't do this, period. But look at me right now, I'm doing it, period. And I can continue to go on further, right? We want to take a sentence, an emotion, a feeling, and we want to pause, neutralize from there, make it positive. Because it's a lot harder to go from negative to positive right off the bat. We struggle with that. A lot of people can't do that.
No.
So I like to teach it as, notice that negative feeling, that thought. Don't like ignore it. Like, hey, become the observer of it. Observe it. Finish your sentence or your feeling, whatever it is, period. Neutralize it. But look at me go, right? Neutral. And then from there, and I can continue to do hard things to make it positive.
So just taking advantage of your ability to choose and choosing another direction. Because
Totally.
when you get into negative thought, I mean, I can't speak for everybody, but for me, it's the downward spiral of negative thinking is so much faster and the slope is so much steeper than it is thinking positively. Like,
yep.
right?
I totally agree with that.
Because like left to my own devices, I am a positive person, I would like to say. But when I do, everybody gets into positive and negative thoughts and frames of mind. But just the negative slippery slope is a lot easier to like it's so steep.
It's kind of fun, as sick as that sounds. Like, like I suck and I'm going to continue to suck. And like, it's easy to like be hard on yourself. And I think we sort of find comfort in that because we're good at it. If that makes sense. Like I'm good at being a shithead to myself. So I'm going to keep doing this because it feels comfortable to me. Like
it feels known.
It feels known. And I think this is something that like just happens to be in many cultures and like our generation. Like that's just sort of what we're used to. Again, there's that comfort, that familiarity of like, oh, I've been down this road before. It sucks and it's blah, 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 blah. But obviously going down, that's not helpful at all. And
it's not healthy either.
It's not healthy.
No, it's not.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, let's take it a step back. Like, think about it like this. Your body, your cells, everything about you is constantly listening to what you're saying and what you're telling it. There's an experiment. I just saw it the other day. I think it might be from some Japanese.
Masaru Emoto?
Possibly.
Go ahead. Go on, though.
I think he had 2 jars of rice. Right? Okay, Carl loves
You
this.
saw that?
Yeah.
And he labeled one maybe like piece of shit or something negative.
Yeah.
Labeled the other one like my absolute lover or whatever. Just like one jar is negative, the other jar is positive. And then he went to talk to these jars every day for like a X amount of time. And the jar that was negative and he would say like, I hate you, like mold began to grow inside or something like that, right?
The water was all like spoiled and then like
gross.
Yeah. It was just dissonance. He inspected it on a molecular level too, and in comparison to the one where he's speaking positive.
Yeah, he's like, I love you so much.
The minor, you zoom into it, the little molecules, they're like represented like more symmetry, like snowflake or something, something beautiful, as opposed to the ones that were like he was talking shit to them, right?
Yeah.
It was just like all deformed and just
chaotic,
really in bad shape.
Yeah, and so that was. I mean, we're made of so like what? I don't know the percentage.
70-80%
of water. And so if you're doing that to like, let's say snowflakes or again, like food with water in it, I mean, that right there is a good example of what that means when you talk to yourself, right? Am I going to speak poorly to myself or am I going to speak highly to myself? I mean, I have days where I am not a nice person to myself. And then I have days where I am my biggest advocate. And I think also part of just the human experience is sort of, it's not to say we have to be in this one state of advocating and being positive 24/7, 365. I mean, that's just unrealistic. But it's just about observing and sort of trying to bridge the gap, right? And sort of eventually take those days of not so good and start to take them and put them over to the days that are good, right? We want to obviously have more days that we're positive and we're advocating for ourselves as opposed to the latter. But again, it's all a work in progress. And I feel that as a yoga teacher and student, that's something that you're able to work on and work through. And it's a very personal practice. I'll tell you that. It's not like, oh, everyone's going to understand what I'm saying right now. I mean, some people may resonate and some other people may be like, what the fuck is she talking about?
Right.
But again, that's for everyone to experience in their own practice. And it could be yoga, breath work, meditation, those things that, again, I teach, I do one-on-ones with, I have a program that involves that. But then other people find that type of union through, like, I don't know, art, painting, musical stuff, possibly for you guys in just doing this podcast. If you're taking something creative and it allows you to come back to the present moment, the here and now, then I think that to me is yoga, really.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And it's union, right? What yoga is. Yeah. Because, I mean, I can't speak for you, Chris, but whenever I'm doing anything creative or anything, even the podcast where we just freely express, I feel like there are no boundaries there, and you really are in union with like what the fuck you want to do at that moment.
Right,
like,
whoever you're talking to.
Or whoever you're talking to, or whatever your activity you're even immersed in. Like, I recently bought a guitar again for my
I seen that,
present
dude.
to myself.
Yes.
Happy belated to you, too.
Love
Happy
it.
belated.
November
babies?
Yep.
Oh, God.
Yep.
So I was just like, when I'm immersed in making music, I'm just like, yeah, nothing else matters. This is cool. I'm happy. And I'm just kind of just, being
You're
me.
in your zone.
Exactly.
You're in the pocket, you know? Yeah.
So that's something that I feel like I still fail at, like doing the whole union between like breath and poses and all that stuff. Even though I've seen you in action, I've seen you work
tried
with
it?
students.
You tried it?
I've tried it, but I've failed millions of times. It's probably because of my lack of persistence. That's just my self-analysis, because I am still on a day-to-day basis still struggle with union in terms of anything.
Okay.
My brain is so scattered.
Okay, so I'm lost here, dude, because you're talking about like taking yoga as like a mental thing, and
Well, Rachel said it was a union of three things.
Yeah.
okay, she said,
Yoga is essentially, the term yoga means union, to yoke. And from my experience and my trainings, what I've come up with is what union means is it's the union of the body, the mind, and the breath.
so that's physical, mental,
and in your breath, your life force. It's called your prana.
Okay.
Without your breath, without your prana, you can't do what you guys are doing right now, right? We can go days without eating, days without drinking water, but we can't go days without breathing. So your breath is honestly in control of everything. Do you have, what's your relationship to your breath? Is it scattered? Is it steady? Is it strong? Like, what is it? And it's not to judge whatsoever. It's just to take a moment and become aware and observe and start to cultivate a relationship with your breath.
All right, so I'm unfamiliar with all this stuff because you've worked with her though, so
I
you
worked
kind
with
of
her, but like
you kind of know the lingo, right? Or
I'm
like
kind of like her student, kind of, because like I've filmed her and I've listened to her and edited her videos.
Right.
So I'm learning. I'm a byproduct of like what she teaches.
So when you say breathing is scattered, and what was the other forms?
So like, okay, how's your breath? Like,
I don't know. I can't. I've never done it.
So
Try
let's
it
do
right
this.
now.
Let's
How's your breath,
all
dude?
three of us, just close your eyes, sit up nice and tall, take a deep breath in through the nose. Exhale, let it go.
Mine jumps.
It's
You heard it? Mine jumps, dude.
it's a little bit scattered, which is fine. I mean, you're breathing, so God bless. That's step one.
You're here with us.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay, so mine was
Yes, and again, that's okay. That's sort of let's talk about it like this in a way. Your nervous system, right? So a lot of life, like our nervous system, like our fight or flight mode.
Fight or flight?
Yeah. It's sort of, we're always trying to work with it here, regardless of the situations that are going on. You're either fighting, you're flighting away, or you're like
chilling, you're whatever,
chilling.
yeah.
Whatever it is, your body's going through all these things. And so it's a good practice to take, let's say, even if it's 10 minutes a day, to just sort of sit there and just breathe and just notice your breath. And again, it's not with judgment, like, oh, my breath is scattered, it's all jumpy. That's not the point. It's just to cultivate that relationship with your breath. And then once you feel just the slightest sense of confidence of, oh, okay, like I recognize this, then you could start to work with it. And a good way to work with it is, I like to do this exercise with all my students. You breathe in, you fill up every part of your body, you hold your breath at the very top, take an extra sip of breath, and then slowly exhale out through the mouth. And then inhale again through the nose as much as you can, leave an extra space, hold at the top, and then fill up, and then exhale out through the mouth. And so breathing in that way will help you to not only calm your nervous system down, but will help you to get a better hold, a better sense of your breathing, and breathing deeper and cultivating that relationship with your breath.
So what does having a scattered breathing mean? Like, what does that mean for me? Like, what does that say about me?
It usually means you're anxious or have a lot going on, or
nervous, maybe?
Maybe nervous.
Sitting right next to me.
Yeah, I could see that.
I don't know, bro. It's just like I tried it and I was like,
it's probably because, like, serious, real talk though, maybe you just haven't really, experienced or like taken a moment to actually analyze your breath like that, right?
No, this is the first time. That's why I was like, what the hell?
And 99% of the time, everyone's just like you, like, well, what does that mean? Oh my God, like my breath is scattered, huh? Like they're a little bit confused, but I mean, that's normal. Again, you have a life with so many things going on all at once. And so, as humans, we're always trying to find that place of centeredness. We're always trying to have our body, it's always reaching for that like homeostasis, right? It's always trying to balance itself out. And so you can notice right away, one way to notice if you're sort of out of balance is, oh, is my breath a little scattered? Yes, it is. Okay, so, I can either move on, no big deal, whatever, go about my day, or I can take a few moments and just do those breathing exercises and see if that changes anything.
And it sounds like not a huge amount of effort, but what she said is so profound, because I find myself like going through my days and recognizing, oh shit, my breath is, kind of wacky right now, but I still don't stop.
Oh, right. And I'm guilty of that too. Absolutely. And it's funny. You'll notice too, when you find yourself in a very difficult situation, I mean, a lot of people in yoga, let's say they're getting into a pose, they stop breathing. They hold their breath out of like, that's just part of their breath pattern, is like when you get nervous or scared or something comes up and you're unaware of how to handle it in the moment, you hold your breath. It's just an instinct. And so, recognize that throughout your day. Let's say you're trying to accomplish something and you have a deadline and you're getting nervous. You see it's, the gap is closing, and are you holding your breath? Take a few moments to just breathe, You'll get through it. I like to say our track record is 100%. We've succeeded everything we thought we were going to not succeed from ultimately, right? We're still here to this very moment.
So far.
So far.
So far.
But also with that being said, like, let's keep it going, right?
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. I mean, it's our choice, right?
So when you have new people come in and they're coming in thinking that they're going to do an exercise, like a physical exercise, and they just get into this whole learn your breathing, dude, learn your breathing, right? Or like, how do you approach people that are like just brand new to the whole thing?
I get people who are brand new and they're a little skeptical, or they're like, have this, they have these expectations that this class is going to be like A, B, C, or X, Y, and Z. And I look at them and I say, don't worry, I'll take care of you. And I do. I make sure if there's a student, I had a student who like, and the classes I teach are relatively like more gentle classes. They're not like, we're not going upside down and doing these crazy poses.
And you do those on the side?
I do those on the side for fun. But I think for me my goal is to just get people to just do yoga. And I think sometimes that can be intimidating for people. So I don't really teach that unless somebody comes to me and says, Rachel, show me how to do this.
So which part is intimidating? Is it the mental part of it, or is it the physical part of it? Because I think for me would be the physical part of it.
And most people it's physical.
Like I can't even touch my feet, dude.
I can't stretch.
You can touch your feet. Oh, okay. Because I mean, like,
that counts.
Because I mean, like, when you do that, you have to keep your knees flat, right? Like, just.
You mean keep your feet flat?
No, like your knees can't bend. Like,
no, you can. So you can bend your knees. I mean, I like to call it bus stops or like levels.
Okay.
And so obviously, what you see, let's say on social media, you see like the end in all poses. No one's gonna really post something like halfway there, guys.
Right.
Come back in a month and see the full thing. No, people are gonna either like bypass all the bus stops and just go straight to it, and by doing that, they're ultimately they're sort of harming their practice in a way. I like to think of it as like preserve the integrity of your yoga practice. If you want to practice and have a good practice, you want to do it. I mean, they say there's no right way or wrong way to do yoga. There are, and it's nothing like dramatic or drastic, but there's subtle little things you can do that will definitely help. I mean, we would have to step off the mic, and I can show you at a later time how to eventually touch your toes, which I would love to do.
Yeah, I probably need that, dude. Yeah. But I from what I've read is that there's different types of yoga, like different forms and like different, like I was reading there's like four cores or something like that.
There's Iyengar yoga. There is Ashtanga yoga. There's I can't think off the top.
And where do you fall in that area?
I've had trainings on a few different types. My main one is like Hatha Iyengar yoga, so that's more. And I like to think of like intentional, like more like bus stops. We have steps. Ashtanga, they're great. I really, those yogis are great. They're committed.
For people that don't know what that is, can you explain a little bit about it?
Ashtanga is sort of, they get more into the more advanced postures that you may see. There's also like Bikram yoga, but they don't really call it Bikram anymore because that guy got in a lot of trouble. So they call it,
I guess.
It's a whole story. I never really liked Bikram because Bikram is a set sequence. And for me, I'm a very creative person. I don't like that. I could see where people like would thrive from that. But I just never got into that one. I usually teach, again, the yoga that I teach is a little hybrid, I would say, of like Hatha, Iyengar, but more like slow, gentle, more yin yoga. Yin yoga is like you're maybe laying on your back for like 2 to 5 minutes per pose.
Right.
Instead of other yoga postures, you're in there like maybe 5 rounds of breath, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And so
the laying down sounds easy, and that's why you don't mess with it, right? Because you think it's too easy?
The type of yoga I teach usually is a combination of like yin and hatha. So it's like I'm encouraging people like you guys, hey, don't be afraid. Come on in, I'll take care of you. But then I give you some things to think about throughout the class that are like kind of mind blown a little bit. They're like, wow, I didn't think of it like that, or whatever the case may be.
And that's your approach to teaching. That's what I was trying to get to. Is like
currently, yes.
So your main focus, like physical, is number 2 and mental is number 1, right? Or
well, usually how I teach it, I teach it like more physical, because I feel like for me, hey, we're going to really tap into your heart center, your emotion, your mental. I don't want to scare people off. I think usually 99% of the people who come take yoga, they're going for the physical. So I'm going to give them that. But again, they walk away, maybe thinking about something differently, or wanting to approach a situation, again, differently than maybe they thought was working for them. And maybe they finally realize, hey, maybe that's not, I'm going to let go and try something new. So
I just see like parallels in, because I have multiple clients, and whoever is a yoga practitioner, obviously, like, they seem a lot more like well balanced in their lives. So since taking
yes,
right?
dude,
and interesting.
It's a good thing though. It's a good thing because it makes me, but it makes me like kind of be like, man, what are they doing that I'm not doing? And like these people come out of these yoga classes and they're like, oh, like so energetic, like happy and stuff, and it's like makes me think like, man, should I join yoga and stuff? But then I start thinking about the physical aspect of it. I'm like, dude, I'm definitely not in the shape to try to do this stuff.
Oh hell
well,
no.
When people say I'm I'm not in the shape to do yoga, it's like I'm not gonna brush my teeth because my teeth are so dirty. It's like, you brush your teeth so that they're not dirty, right? You floss your teeth so you don't get shit in your teeth. Like you do yoga so you feel good, right?
Makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense though.
So do you have to have some kind of like, what do you call it, like gym background for you to be able to do yoga, you think?
Absolutely not. No. Mm-mm.
Interesting. Well, I mean, for all the physical, I thought that you would, because like...
Oh, for me as a teacher?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, I've taken 3 yoga teacher trainings.
And then
myself,
For,
but
like,
as a student,
as a student,
I mean, no. Everyone is a beginner at one point in their lives. I walked in and I literally was like, all right, could be the one thing that will help save my mental in college. You know, again, instead of drinking and going out and stressing about school, I thought I need something. Like I was at a point where I'm like, I'm desperate. What is it? And I was living in downtown Tucson at the time, and I walked past the yoga studio and I go, huh. And I walked up to the window, saw the schedule, and I said, I'll be back in an hour for the class.
You did come back.
And I went back for the class, and I was like, holy shit, I'm so glad I did. I mean,
that changed your life.
So that's a defining moment for you then.
Absolutely. And this sounds kind of crazy, but throughout one of my practices at the start, I heard God say, you need to share this. You need to teach this. Like, I would go to class and I would have other students in the class stop and just watch me practice, which was crazy to me. I mean,
that's a compliment, no?
It was a major compliment. And I thought, oh my God, like, in a way it makes you feel like, okay, I'm a leader. Like, I need to have respect for this practice. I need to have respect for how I show up and for how I treat others. And it really did change me. My God, it really did change me. And, you know, I still like to think that, transitioning from student is so different when you go from student to teacher. There's another level of like, people are wanting answers from you, sort of. People are expecting a certain amount from you, which is fine. But then it puts a little bit of pressure on you that takes away from the fun of your own practice a little bit. So
from what I read, they've like broken yoga into so many different like forms. Like there's prenatal yoga.
Yoda, prenatal Yoda.
Yeah, I love prenatal Yoda. No, but actually,
the force.
The force is with you. I took one of my trainings, prenatal, postnatal yoga, and I think it's pretty cool because if you think about it, you know, let's say you're a mother and you're expecting, you have a little baby inside of you. That baby is, to an extent, receiving the same benefits because the baby's feeding off of the mother's energy, the food that the mother eats, blah, 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 through the whole 9 months. And so if the mother's like, let me do yoga and this and that, I mean, those benefits are obviously going to help the child, and it helps with, you know, let's say going into labor. The mother will learn breathing techniques and, you know, let's say, of course, I'm sure that experience could be chaotic to a degree, and it allows the mother to really just hone in on like what's important. Okay, is getting this baby out as, you know, easily as possible.
Right. So like, has a mother ever came back to you and said, hey, these techniques that you taught me really made my my pregnancy go smoother or something?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
And they also have like sweat yoga.
Like hot yoga.
Oh, hot yoga.
And
What's that called?
Hot yoga.
It's hot yoga.
Hot yoga is typically what they used to call Bikram.
Oh, that's the Bikram thing.
Yeah.
That's the Bikram thing.
Yeah.
You guys are talking about Bikram so much. Who's Bikram?
I don't know Bikram. I just
Bikram
know
is
it because
this-
I hear it a lot. I don't know Bikram.
The history of Bikram is that he was one of the main, you know, teachers who brought yoga, made it popular
Gurus.
here.
What do they call? What do they call
Gurus.
yoga masters?
You say Yugu Master.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
Prenatal Yoda and
Yugu Masters.
Yeah, Yugu Master. Chris, the master of all.
Nah, I'm just trying to. So
The
okay.
captions for this video is Yugu Masters and prenatal Yoda.
I love it. He was one of the main gurus, if you like to call it that, who made yoga popular in the United States. So I give him credit for that. But ultimately, he got, you know, pretty like up on his high horse, and like he got really creepy with some students, and it was just a domino effect. I think he's currently, like, if he were to step back into the United States, he would be arrested.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
Is
like
that bad?
he like fled. He's somewhere else. I think maybe Spain. Don't quote me on this, but
shit.
there's actually a Netflix. I think it's on Netflix, a documentary about the guy. So if you're interested, watch it. It's really interesting.
Okay, so we call it hot yoga now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not
I mean, you
Not
can
Bikram.
call it tomato, whatever. I mean, that was one type of style that I just didn't really care for because I didn't like how it was a set sequence. You have to do these poses, and it was like a 90-minute class.
Oh wow.
And yeah, these people walked out and they're just drenched, but most of them were, again, they're just like off that yoga high, and they were ready for the next day of practice. And I think I did it once when I was maybe like 13, and I was like, these people are nuts.
So wait. So they put the temperature up
Oh yeah.
to
It's
what?
like a
Is it?
sauna thing?
Oh my gosh,
or-
the temperature is somewhere between. I think at low it's maybe 98 at the lowest.
Boom, how do
I
you
know.
breathe in there?
So how do you? Yeah, exactly. How do you breathe in that?
That's part of the practice.
That's part of the practice. You
part of the
control it. Because I go to
Yeah.
the fucking, I don't know if you've been to King Spa or any.
Oh, I've
any
heard of that place. Remarkable.
They have like the heated rooms, the sauna rooms or
Yeah.
whatever. I don't know, maybe difference or whatever. But just the amount of heat that's in that room, it's really, I get nervous stepping into that room because
Totally.
I'm just like, man, what if I pass out? Or what if like I can't really.
Is it be a motherfucker
What if
ready
I
to
can-
mouth to mouth for you?
Dude.
Oh no! Oh
Stay
no!
away from that,
Quick,
bro.
resuscitate. Oh no!
But like, how do you maintain control of your breath in such an environment that may be extreme for some people? You know, do you tell them, hey, look, you're just gonna
You
have
know what
to
I
trust
focus
it?
on? I always, I don't know what it is. I close my eyes. I close my eyes and I try to focus on breathing in through the nose and either exhaling out through the mouth or the nose, preferably the nose. And I'll tell you why. The nose, when you breathing in and out through the nose, I mean, your nose was designed for you to breathe, not the mouth. The mouth is you're supposed to eat and drink, not the nose. And so when you're breathing,
Y'all heard that?
so when you're breathing with your nose, you're hydrating your body. You know, your nose has little,
Oh wait, when you breathe through your nose,
when you breathe through your nose,
hydrate.
you're hydrating your body.
Oh,
When you
wow.
breathe through your mouth, you're like dehydrating your body. Ultimately,
Really?
yeah. Mhm.
I did not know that.
So I mean, have you heard of like mouth tape?
I've heard of mouth breather.
A mouth breather.
Yeah.
So if you want, you could go home tonight, take some tape. I like to use some mouth tape and just literally tape it over your mouth. And then that forces you. It's nothing scary. I know maybe as you're laying down, you're like, holy shit. But you know, it's a good practice to really breathe in and out of your nose. And I mean, you'll wake up, you'll have your sleep is so much deeper. You wake up way more refreshed, and it's a great thing to sort of implement if you really want to, again, like get a handle on your breathing techniques. And then
Cool.
so anytime you find yourself in a moment where you're like, holy shit, like this is too hot, or even like this is too cold for like an ice bath, just focus on your breath.
Have you done the ice baths?
I have, and I'm such a little bitch. It's so fucking hard, but I've done it. I'll say that. I don't stay in there too long, but that's something I need to work on. That's one of my goals for next year.
I have a question for like, because you mentioned implementation. So like the practice of yoga and the union and all that stuff, how is diet correlated to that practice? Do you recommend a certain diet for people? Do you kind of like, what's your take?
My take on all that is eat from nature. Okay. Eat from nature. Stay away from anything that's processed. Stay away from anything that comes in a box with some ingredients you cannot read on the back. Because when you eat from nature, your body is able to take that and use it accordingly. It's able to feed yourself and take care of your cells and your muscles and your brain. But when you're eating from things that like high fructose, high bullshit,
fructose
corn syrup, like
yeah,
and things that you literally cannot pronounce, your body is like, I don't know what to do with this, so I'm just gonna hang on to it, and it's stored in your body,
stored in your liver
for like
wherever,
or
right?
yeah,
And it
I mean it's just stored inside of you for X amount of time until, I don't know, somehow you find a way to like get it out of
get rid
you.
of it, yeah, or sometimes it just stays with people like their whole lives, and that's the root of disease. You know, I don't want to get into like this topic too deeply, but I mean, just a bad diet is the root of any disease, because you're essentially what you're feeding integrates with your cells.
Yes,
right,
correct.
And everything in your body is a living organism, so that living organism needs food.
Yes.
And if it's feeding off of bullshit, you're gonna become bullshit. Like,
exactly.
you know, it's kind of like, I don't want to say it's simple, but not many people break it down to like the first principles of like, okay, what is food? Food is nourishment. What am I nourishing? My body. Okay, how is my body comprised of? How is it functioning? Oh, it's little cells nourishing another. They comprise of bigger things like organs. They comprise of bigger systems like the immune system, skeletal system, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah, I just like I really needed just the reassurance for.
I wanted to make it very simple. Just if it's from nature, I would give it 2 thumbs up. If it's not from nature, if you can't pronounce the ingredients in it, if you're looking at, let's say, a carrot and the ingredients are orange color, blah blah blah. Like, no, 2 thumbs down. Okay.
So it's either
Just
2
a
thumbs up
carrot.
or 2 thumbs down.
Carrot.
There's like no in between, honestly. And you know, whatever. Sometimes I'll have a little bit of chocolate here or this or that. Like, I'm not perfect.
Yeah, I mean, it was just Thanksgiving too. I cheated.
Yeah,
I cheated.
I had some nice pumpkin red, color orange
Color
pie.
6 or like red 6 or like
Yeah.
that bullshit.
But you really want to stay away from that, because it also really, like, neurologically and mentally, it changes you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, you know, if you want to live that vibrant, healthy, strong life, stick to foods that Mother Nature grew specifically for you.
Nice.
Yeah.
So is that something that you preach in your classes? Is like diet has to be part of this class?
I do not say a single word. I do not open my mouth about any diet, anything, because a lot of people get really offended. And I've had people, well, you know, that might work for some people, but me specifically, I have this, that, and the other, and I need to take these meds for blah, 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 blah. And it's like, all right, Susan, all right. You know, I appreciate you coming up to me. Like, thank you. I hope you have a great day. I mean, I'm not, it could just, you know, I'm not trying to deal with that. I want to be there for the yoga and mentor people. And if people have questions, like, I'm obviously there. I'm going to provide the best answers. And if I don't have the answers, I will provide them with resources to help them make the best choices for them. But I'm not here to preach a certain lifestyle or anything like that, because I mean, everyone likes to live different ways, and they're very committed, and it's very personal to them. And so as long as I can sort of get in there with yoga, like, you go ahead and you do you, boo boo. You do you, boo boo.
And how do you feel about the way that yoga has evolved from the traditional point that it was to what it is now, where sometimes people just do it as a fad, you know?
Yeah, totally. It's like super trendy, and, you know, let's go to yoga and then get like mimosas after at brunch. Like,
Or sometimes they have those, like, literally, like,
Yeah.
yoga in the morning and then mimosas after. Like, that's like a
literally-
combo.
Thing,
I
right?
literally taught at an event that was like, go to yoga and then stick around for brunch, and like a boozy brunch. And like,
Wow.
I laugh at it. I'm like, I'm glad I can be here to teach the yoga, but I don't know. It's just sort of the state of our, you know, where we're at as a society and our consciousness. And I used to sort of be like mad about it and want to fight the system. But I mean, as you get older, you just sort of say, fuck that. Like, I mean,
just gonna say the same thing. It was about our birthdays, right? So like every year it's just like, man, I'm just becoming more and more of an observer.
correct.
As opposed to getting involved in the mess that the world is right now. I'm just here. I'm chill.
Yes. I mean, I still like to think I'm passionate. I was much more passionate about certain things, and you know, ultimately, I'm not trying to push people away from me. I'm trying to get them to see a different perspective. But a lot of people just get turned off by that, because again, they're so committed to their own lifestyle and blah blah blah. So, you know, I'm at a point where, again, I'm just observing. You know, I'm passionate. I'll say my little 2 cents here and there if I'm asked, but I'm not going to go out of my way and say, oh my God, like this and that, and stop the booze and all this. I mean, because again, it's just like, at the end of the day, it's like beating a dead horse to me.
Right.
Like, I'm not getting anywhere. I mean, if anything, people are just looking at me like annoyed or whatever. And like, I'm not trying to do that. I'm just trying to bring people together, find something that we can all have in common, maybe learn something new from each other.
So yeah.
That's why I had to ask too, because I know a lot of people that started doing yoga just for the fact that it was like a trend. Like, you know, like,
Oh, for sure.
let me buy my Amazon yoga, make it pink, hot pink, and let me go.
Can I get that
like the
matching
big-
water bottle?
Yeah, water bottle, like the big tumbler.
The Stanley Cup.
The Lululemons,
Yeah.
the Lululemons. Yeah.
Yeah, I got to get that fit. I mean, I kind of like that too, though. Like,
Shit. Oh, there we go. Exposed.
I mean, like, look at me. I like fashion. I like good stuff. But nonetheless,
that sweater though.
is it though?
It's a
Plug,
cool
plug,
sweater.
plug.
But, you know, at the end of the day, you could be practicing yoga. You don't need a mat. You don't need anything specific to wear. You could stand there naked right here and just practice yoga. And, you know, that's what's most important, is that everything is about making a choice, making a decision, right? So, like, what are you going to make? What choices are you making? What decisions are you making? Because ultimately, that is those choices, decisions are going to get you to where maybe you want to go, or ultimately they're going to dictate your life, right? Regardless of where you want to go and all that, it's, that it's just going to tell you where your future is at. And so, is it necessarily getting a cute little outfit and like having brunch with your friends after yoga? Like, I don't know, maybe not. Like,
and that's crazy because sometimes, like she said, it's a trend. It's going to look cute, but then there's people that actually use yoga as like physical therapy.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like,
I have private clients who, these are
That's
private.
crazy.
Yeah, these are private clients who, they've come to my classes, but these people are, maybe they're in their 60s, 70s, even, and they're sort of like, even my gentle, like hatha yin style class is like too much for them, which that's just where they're at in their life. And I get it. And so I offer them, hey, would you be interested in this one-on-one session? I'll give you one session for free. And then from there, we could see if that's helpful for you. They love it. It's like day and night difference for these people. And so to me, seeing, and we don't do anything crazy. These people are in their 60s, 70s. Their range of mobility is
limited,
very limited. And so it's so cool to see how much, how sort of the life, they like get life from meeting with me for an hour long. It's fantastic.
And that's what I'm trying to get to is like the different phases of yoga, dude. So like I said, you have your trend, you have your physical therapy, you have your mental, you have your spiritual,
right?
And it's all like a unity of everything. And that's what blows my mind because like, dude,
right.
My only freaking like barrier to this world is the physical.
At the root of it, if we really want to get philosophical,
let's do it.
The physical part of that impediment is mental because you're choosing not to be physical.
Well, she said I'm eating everything that she said not to. I'm 2 thumbs down for everything she ate. She said. Yeah,
man.
dude. But like I said, like people actually do this to help them out physically, mentally, and like.
I think it's important to also note that people don't realize what it feels like to feel good until when they all of a sudden feel good, they're like, holy shit, this is what I'm supposed to feel like. And then so then they start to recognize their own habits and, okay, let me swap this out for that. Let me incorporate yoga. Let me get rid of this, red 55 dye food. And they start to feel good. It becomes more of a habit, and it turns into a lifestyle. And then from there, it's like, why would I go back to feeling like shit and then wondering why I feel like shit?
Yeah.
And that's where the world turned for you, is when you started seeing that, like that whole energy change.
You know what's crazy? I really started to really love yoga because I felt like I can't really explain why. I must have been like 23 at the time.
I want to hear it.
I just remember like I was in a place when I first started. I was incredibly stressed out with school. I was like partying literally every day. And I needed something to like pull me out of that right away and switch up my energy. And it was through yoga where I felt like, I don't know how to explain it, but I felt, my energy inside change. And I felt like when I would go interact with people after yoga, I would, again, respond differently. I would notice, like I would pause and notice how I was about to react. And I would change my reaction to an intentional response. And then from there, I started to see life changed for me. Like I had to change something from the inside to see it reflected on the outer. And then from there, it was sort of like I was co-creating with the world, and whatever the world was bringing to me, I was able to maneuver in such a way that I would obviously get what I wanted from it, and then move to the next step, move to the next, scene, close, next scene, cut, next. And it was so cool to see this play out in the real world. It was incredible. And I think that was when I was practicing like twice a day. And I was just, I was going to school and practicing twice a day and just very committed to my own personal health and evolution. And I thought, holy shit, like how do people not know this? Like, this is like the secret sauce. Like, you really need to change maybe 1 or 2 habits, have that change inside of you, and that is reflected in the outer. And it's something that, again, it's like so personal, and it's hard to explain until you actually do it yourself. And then people come to me and say, holy shit, Rachel, you're telling me. Like I've witnessed it. I've experienced it myself, this change. And it's pretty remarkable.
Has family seen the changes from like back, like close family members? Have they seen your transformation from 23 to like
I think so. I think that my family's constantly like looking at me like I'm really impressed. I'm really proud. I mean, I still have moments where I'm not amazing, and that's okay too. I'm human. But yeah, I mean, my family, my mom, my siblings, my dad, and then even like my aunts and uncles. I mean, they're really supportive. I'll tell you that. They're really supportive. None of them have been like, oh, so what's this yoga stuff you're talking about? Like, no, they're like, that's really fucking cool, without the fuck.
No, your mom said the fuck. Though.
Well, my mom did say
your mom said the fuck.
So.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I think it's just, I don't know, like, again, it's a mental place where it seems like what happened to you post 23 was you were more in control. You're out of this autopilot sort of frame of mind, because I was in autopilot at one point in my life too. I was, me, we were partying for a long time. We were on autopilot. I wouldn't say that I came to an amends with a practice like you did with yoga, but I started becoming at least more conscious of like what I was doing, what I was consuming, who I was interacting with, because it's once you've made a decision in your life where you want to take control again, you start to, and this kind of just like fire the neurons as you were explaining your part of it, is just you're more cognizant of your reactions, and you're more picky with who you start conversations with.
Totally.
You start to because we are social beings, we're animals, we're we like socializing, so one interaction with 10 people. Out of that, before I was, I guess, less conscious of my actions, for lack of a better term, since it's not yoga related, I'd be like, okay, cool, let me fuck with these 10 people like the next day or the week after. Mm-hmm. But because I was on autopilot, I was just like, oh, cool, these people are cool, I just met them, I want them to like me. Mm-hmm. I came to a point where it's just like, man, I don't give a fuck anymore. Like, I'm doing me. I don't need anybody to like me, and I'm just going to fuck with people who I vibe with for lack of a better, term. You're more aware of like, okay, cool. If we want to get frequency into this, like whoever's on my frequency, whoever I'm talking the same language with, that's who I'm going to hit up.
Totally.
That's who I'm going to keep in my circle. So I would like to see how that changes if I decide to be more cognizant and just be more, in union as like Rachel was saying.
Take care of yourself, create that own union with yourself, and then see who is around and maybe resonates. And if not, if you notice someone starts to float away, try
They're
not
meant to float away.
Try not to take it personally. I know I get a little butthurt sometimes, like, where are they going? Okay, let them float away. Someone, whatever leaves, know that it leaves and there's new energy that is being called in to replace that. Yeah. If that makes sense.
It makes sense. I don't know if that's called anything.
That should have a term. I feel like
I've read it somewhere too, but I recognize the concept of it.
Like in yoga, I'll say, if there's something that's not serving you, maybe it has. Maybe there's something that served you for a while and now you're just sort of holding on to it because it's comfortable. But please feel free to drop it right now. And when you do, you'll make space for something that's more updated to come on in and take over and serve you from here on out until you realize, hey, that's not serving me. I'll drop it again. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what do your classes consist of? If I was to go to Arizona and jump into one of your classes, like how would I come into that?
You would walk in and I would say, Chris, I got you. Here's a mat. Here's a towel. Thank you for being here. I always have my students usually starting off like we're just on our backs, like swaying our knees side to side pretty much. It's very easy, gentle stuff. I mean, I'm guiding you throughout the whole thing. So there's nothing like, oh, what do I do next? Like there's none of that. It's just I get you into a place again where you're just so present and you're just listening to what I'm saying and you're just following along. Like Simon says, Rachel says, bend your knees, place your feet on the floor. Rachel says, reach your arms up overhead and just take a breath here.
And then how do you reach the mental point with just those, the call outs?
The mental point, I think it's sort of just sprinkled in throughout, honestly. Because again, I think of it as mental in the fact that this is how I always introduce my classes. I say, hey guys, thank you so much for being here. Know that the next 60 minutes or so are carved out for you specifically in your self-care. So whatever happened earlier today, let it be there, and whatever's going to happen later on, just let it surprise you later on. Okay, let's bring our focus to right here and right now. Okay, I'll take care of you throughout the whole way, and if there's any moment that you need my attention, just gently raise your hand and I'll swing on by to support you. But otherwise, sit back, relax, and enjoy your time. Something along those lines.
And then another thing that I've read, I don't know, you might have something to say about it, is that yoga was also used to prolong life.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you can explain on that, because I didn't really, get too much deep into reading that. But
sure. Well, there's different. I mean, there's a lot to go into that statement. I'll start with this. I mean, most of us have heard of chakras, correct?
Yeah, I've heard of it, but I don't practice it, or
you
is
don't
that
know.
like
You
the
don't practice-
stones?
You don't practice chakras, though. They just exist.
Okay, yeah, but you've heard of the word chakra, correct?
Chakra. Okay, so I said it wrong the whole time.
I don't know. How
Okay,
to say
guys.
it. I know what they
I
are.
pronounce it chakra, but I
Okay.
hear people say chakra.
Okay, no, and that's fine, because
Tomato,
there's a
tomato.
right. Okay, so
Tomato. But a chakra is basically an energy wheel within our body. Now we have thousands in our bodies, but you hear of the 7 main chakras, and it's at the feet, at the pelvis, at the belly button, the heart center, the throat, the third eye, and the crown. The crown chakra. And all these chakras, each yoga pose has some sort of association with the chakras. And so when you're practicing these poses, you're able to keep that energy wheel spinning efficiently, right? And correctly, right? We want to keep the wheels greased, if that makes sense. And so, and when our chakras are aligned and when they're working efficiently, you tend to live longer, right? You take care of yourself, your body's going to take care of you.
Mm-hmm.
And there's other things that go into this. There's
did I heard of Yoga Sutra? Sutra?
Yoga Sutra. I heard of Kama Sutra.
No, okay,
shit.
and because that's Indian, yoga has an Indian background, so that's why you get the Yoga Sutra.
Yoga Sutra. So is that poses during sex or something?
No, I think it was 4 chapters or something like that.
Yoga Sutras are from a book. I'm cracking up at you guys. You guys I've heard of Kama Sutra. So the Yoga Sutras it's I don't want to compare it to the Bible, but it's a book that sort of teaches about the practice of yoga and the lasting effects and the why behind yoga.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So there's different.
It's like a reference.
Yes,
sort of
a little
okay.
bit. But the way that they write it is very much you have to pick it apart.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
it's not. Most of the sutras aren't really straightforward. It kind of makes you think a little bit. You have to
I like
pause
that.
and
I like
dissect
that.
it a little
Yeah,
bit. Yeah.
yeah.
So there's different interpretations out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can fuck with that.
Yeah. Very
That's
cool.
Definitely something that I should look at, because like she said, if it's something that you have to go by and it's like a Bible, then maybe you want to get some tips from it,
Yeah, look into it.
Yeah, I like
mean,
that.
I think when you mentioned the chakras in one of your videos.
Totally.
That reminded me of, Chris, have you seen Avatar?
Of course I've seen
So
Avatar.
you don't know the freaking scene where he's explaining what the chakras are? It's the most viewed scene, I think, on YouTube. Or it has
I've
the
never
most
seen
views. You've never
Avatar.
seen it?
No.
Is that the
Pop it
one
up
with the
right
tree?
now.
Is that the one with the tree? Or
No,
what?
it's an old dude, because I don't watch the show, but there's an old dude.
Wait. Avatar, the cartoon?
The cartoon.
Oh, no.
Oh, you're talking about James Cameron.
Yeah, I'm not talking about
Oh, the blue
Nickelodeon. You're
people.
talking about Nickelodeon, the Airbender?
Yeah, whatever. It's an animated one because there's a movie now. Anyways, what I was trying to get to is that it was a clip where the old dude is explaining what chakras are and how it's blocked, and if one's blocked, then the other chakra is not going to be able to fully function because you're blocked. So it's just a flow, right?
Right. So if let's say even your arm or shoulder, if that's not working correctly, then other parts of your body are trying to pick up the work and overcompensate for this part that's not operating correctly.
Okay.
So it's similar exactly with the chakras. If one's not working, the other's trying to pick up the slack. That one gets frustrated. There's a little duel maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what is your interpretation?
Oh, man, look at his face. Look at his face.
No.
Let's get.
This is years ago. Maybe 10 years ago.
You already see the smirk coming out.
because
it's going to be funny. Go ahead.
It's not funny. It make me laugh because I'm reminded of it right now. But so 10 years ago, there was this free class or whatever. Have your like get your chakras read or some shit like that, right?
Oh,
Okay.
And I was like, you know, they laid me down on a table. I closed my eyes.
Oh, no way.
It doesn't sound
Okay.
Let me
sounds
explain
sketch
the
to me,
story. Yeah,
right?
they made me take off my clothes. No, they didn't do any of
Yeah?
that. No.
Oh.
They just made me lay down, close my eyes. And then they had like the scents going on.
The incense.
The incense. I don't know if this is like Hollywood effect, but whatever.
Yeah.
I'll paint the scene for you.
Please.
So they had me lay down on like a massage table on my back, and then they lit up the incense, and then I don't know if it, and I had my eyes closed
Was
the whole
the
time.
smoke like the way it moved or something?
What, the smoke? What do you mean? What?
This is maybe side note, but I've heard like if the smoke like goes to the east, that means something.
Oh
and then
shit! I didn't notice.
Okay,
I
okay.
smelled it though. I
Okay,
smelled it
okay.
because at this point the instructor made it clear that I could not open my eyes.
Wait, the instructor or the magician?
Whatever.
Okay.
We'll assess after the story.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
let
yeah.
me know if I got. I probably did. But I was on it, you know, eyes closed, and then I started smelling the scents, and then I don't know if this was the instructor or they brought in another person, but I started hearing like a woo.
Oh, I'm sure they had like
sound
a
bowl
little sound bowl going on.
bowl thing. So they had that, and then they're just like, you know, they instructed me whatever. But fast forward, the thing they told me was, you know, how do you feel? Like I was expecting to be analyzed. I didn't get analyzed. They asked me how do I felt? Like what did you experience? And I was just like, well, I don't know if I was hallucinating. I don't know what the fuck was in the incense, but I remember, or maybe I passed out because it was for an hour.
Okay.
It was for an hour. And then I guess after I woke up at the end of it, the instructor's like, okay, well, tell me how you feel. I'm just like, what the fuck? You tell me how I did.
Yeah, right.
You know, what's the rating? Tell me.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, cool. Well, I remember dreaming or seeing like, you know, there were clouds, and then I saw animals running, and then I was like, I was trying to say something, but I couldn't. And they said something about, oh, that's related to your throat chakra. You should be more assertive with how you feel. You should be more assertive with kind of like, you know, what you have to say to other people. I'm just like, okay, cool. I guess, you know.
Did it resonate?
I guess at the time, no, because I was like,
You're like, this is crazy.
yeah, I was just like, I usually tell people like what I feel, you know.
Yeah.
I usually do. I mean, I'm not confrontational, but I mean, if I'm feeling some sort of way, either you'll know or like, you know, I'll tell you, hey man, like I'm not feeling it right now.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So I mean, that was the bulk of the experience. It's just like, yeah, you know, if you liked it, if you resonate with it, feel free to come back. I didn't come back, obviously.
Yeah.
I just thought it was like, that's the first time I knew like the throat chakra was blocked. And then I think the offer or like the pitch was because of that, come back so you could like unblock it or like blah, 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 blah.
Right.
Because again, I'm asking because I don't know how the blockages help, but the throat chakra is like, is it the third one? You got the crown?
Yeah, you got crown, third eye, the
third
throat,
eye, and then throat.
But usually with the chakras, you go from the ground up.
Oh, ground up.
Yeah,
okay.
so that's like your sixth chakra.
Okay, so I had it in reverse because I thought I was like, fuck. Like, I thought it was going down. So, like, I had the rest of them blocked. Because
Oh,
of it.
no.
And I was just freaked out. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, shit. And I just.
Like, oh no.
yeah. And then.
Special instance, bro.
Yeah.
A special instance.
And that was just it, though. But, I mean.
Kind of
so,
scammy, it sounds like. but-
Scammy, right? Okay.
Let you take a nap is basically what you paid for.
I mean, it wasn't.
Oh,
I didn't pay
free,
for
free,
anything. It was just
free.
like, yeah, come, blah, 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 blah. And then I was
Yeah.
just like, okay, throat chakra or whatever. So,
Yeah.
with that said, like, I guess what happens if you have your throat chakra blocked? What implications does that have with your other chakras?
I wouldn't focus too much on how does that affect my other chakras. I think each chakra is so specific and has a certain like agenda and things to do. So it's not like if your throat's blocked, that means your third eye's fucked up and you can't see shit, blah, blah, blah. I mean, they do have some sort of affiliation with each other. They're all working together ultimately. But I wouldn't focus too much on that, honestly.
Okay.
Not at all.
Okay.
Okay, Airbender.
Okay. Was that-
Okay,
No,
Airbender.
dude, watch it, dude. Watch put the clip up.
All right. Rachel, real quick.
Yeah.
What are some common misconceptions you get about yoga that people like that are like people like expect and that don't expect or hear or don't really see that?
I think I get a few different ones here. Like for instance, like you, Chris, you're like, I don't know if yoga's for me. I mean, I've never done it. I can't touch my toes, so like I'm not gonna do it. Well, that's like I'm not gonna brush my teeth because my teeth are dirty. Like it doesn't make sense. Like if anything, come to yoga. You know, we'll brush your teeth too.
Whiten that shit up.
Okay, Colgate.
I need to. By the way, that link didn't work.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Well, because
I'm
there's
trying to whiten my teeth. My teeth
Come to-
can get a little whiter.
come
They
to
can.
Arizona and I'll give you guys give you guys a nice setup. Okay.
Okay, so Rachel, for everybody watching, if they
Yeah.
wanted to learn more about you, you know,
I'm on Instagram. It's Rachel Rachel Cheyenne CheYanne Stern STERN. I have my full name on there, first, middle, last. So come find me. Send me all the memes. I love memes, and we'll talk yoga.
if they want to DM you about some questions they have.
Yeah, absolutely. My DMs are always open for that.
All right, Carl.
Dope. Check it
anything?
out. Check it
Yeah,
out.
awesome.
I mean, this was dope. I think this was a fun session.
I'll be back.
Definitely.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. No
Absolutely
yoga this
be
time,
back.
just a chill session.
Yeah.
Just a chill session.
Okay, okay.
So come back. Come check out the episode. Come check out Rachel. She's good people.
Yeah.
And
Thanks, guys.
thanks for tuning in.
If you guys liked what you watched and you enjoyed this episode, please give us a like, subscribe, and you know all the good stuff. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Twitch. Follow us on YouTube.
We'll
anywhere.
do some short films, right? We're working on short films now. That'd be kind of cool.
Love it. Love
And
it.
we're definitely, if you guys haven't checked out the Halloween one, definitely check that one out. And with that said, happy Thanksgiving and
Happy Thanksgiving.
happy holidays.
Cheers.
Happy holidays.
Cheers, you guys. Thank you.
Later.
Later.